So I've been really into watching people with the old school boards doing street stuff. I just think it looks like a ton of fun, like Chris Hyatt and some other guys like that on the Powell boards. And so my wife got me a Bucky Lasek reissue. I'm trying to get it all on frame there, and I got it set up. I got some 169s on there. I put riser pads on there because it's extra wide and it seems like the right thing to do, so you don't get more wheel bite. I put some Santa Cruz. I wanted the Powell ones. They make them in the exact same green, but I ended up getting some Santa Cruz rails because that's all I could find. And this board also, you need the 6-bolt pattern trucks, which is kind of annoying, but is what it is. Also, there's some extra holes there. There's an adjustable, like you can make the nose smaller. I decided to go with the big nose. I feel like that'll be just a little bit more useful for my uses here. And some 53 millimeter dragons. These are supposed to be soft but skate like they're hard, like still slide even though they're soft. They feel like plastic. They feel cheap. They feel bad like in hand. That doesn't make any difference. I more care about how they skate. I don't know yet. I've not skated this at all yet. I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to see if I can do some normal flat ground on it.
So don't worry, the camera work will get a little bit better in a minute here, but I'm just trying out some basics on the board. It was a bit tough to get some height there. A little fakey manny to try out those dragon wheels. And this is the first mini battle because this trick is like an everyday first try basic thing for me. I do it constantly, and with this board it was actually a little bit tough because of the tail. It's so pointy, like it's got a corner on it. So you don't have as much of a pocket on it, but I ended up getting a decent one. Little boneless there, kind of a must-do on a board that big. Kickflip, that was my first try and second try. It ended up not being all that hard. Then I went for the backside flip. I've been practicing this one. I tend to do one every time I'm out skating just to kind of keep it fresh. A little bit tough on that one, but look at how it turned out. Okay, I know that backside flip was terrible, but I'm keeping it because it was so interesting. Like the board is so big that it's hard to not land on stuff, you know? Like you're not as likely to drag your toe or your heel because it's just so big. I forgot to mention it's a 9.8, so it's pretty hefty. It's a little bit tough to get a nice pop and a flick and all that stuff, so far at least. You know, it's my first time on it, but it's easier to land stuff. It's just so big. So that was cool. As far as the dragons are concerned, they do slide. I haven't been doing it on camera, just, you know, as I do something to turn around. They do slide. We don't slide as much as I hoped, but I'm gonna have to experiment with that some more. Let's do some harder tricks. The next trick I want to battle, of course, is a nollie flip. You got to do it on any board with a weird nose like that. And it does have a decent kick nose on it, but it does pop a lot more steep than you would typically expect. So the way that it feels under you is just a lot different, and it takes a bit of effort to try to stay on top of it. I cut out a bunch of attempts, but I do eventually get one. The nollie flip is a bit of a battle, and not in the way I expected. I could pop it and flick it, no problem. The issue is that if you get a good pop, it tends to go backwards. And if you keep it with you, you kind of throw it way out ahead, and it doesn't pop that much. I'm sure I can tweak it and keep doing it and get them pretty good, because it definitely works. But it was a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. Next up, I wanted to go for this little shifty no comply trick, and I thought that big flat tail would make it a lot easier, but the board still flipped sometimes doing those. So I ended up just kind of getting an okay one and calling it a day. But I wanted to do a boneless 360. This trick, I used to be pretty good at it. I used to do it all the time. But man, this one really took me out. I kept getting thrown to the ground on this one. But, you know, it feels like the board wants to have a boneless done on it, you know, just that shape. It's really begging for it. So, you know, hopefully I can get one. I'm gonna call that one. I don't know why I'm being thrown off the nose every single time. I thought it was because my foot was being planted too long and I'm spinning around it while traveling, so I'm kind of tipping over. But
I don't think it was that. I started where I'd grab and like bones the board way out in front, so it's farther this way, and then hopefully it would come back. But I'm getting thrown off the nose every single time, so I'm gonna have to check the camera and see what's going on. Maybe I'll try it a different day, but I just don't have it in me to keep getting slammed like that. I landed on my elbow pretty hard a couple tries ago. But for now, let's try something even harder, maybe. An impossible.
One of my big goals was to get an impossible, which I wasn't sure could even be done. The board doesn't have a pocket, you know, the tail actually sticks out in the corner there, so it pops more than it scoops. And I managed to get one, but I managed to get an even better one too.
Okay, that wasn't easy, but that was not as hard as I expected. I really thought that was gonna be the hardest trick of the day because the board is so big that it'd be more effort to throw it around. Really wasn't that big of a problem. The only issue I had is I had to put my front foot like way like toward the center of the board. I normally have it way up by the front bolts, but as I was doing that, I was always landing on the nose. So putting it back, that actually worked. May have not been the cleanest one, but I saw the graphic, so it must have been an impossible and not a 360 shout at least. So that's pretty good.
And of course, I really wanted to get a tray flip on it. I'm decent at these, not great, so it would probably have taken me a couple attempts on any board, but on this big old beefer, it ended up not being all that crazy. Like, the board's always staying with me. That tends to happen on every trick. The board just doesn't want to go anywhere, and I managed to get a couple that are okay. And then I took a pretty bad elbow first bail here. See, watch the board pop up. Boom. So like I landed hard on my left elbow, and then I just smashed my right one. So both of them are in rough shape right now. And again, we're getting okay. Like, that one was all right. I think maybe my heel touched slightly. It's tough to get one that's super clean on it, but you know, that was good enough for testing out the board.
Okay, I'm gonna call it on the tray flip. That was pretty hard. Not as hard as I expected though. I thought that it was gonna go flying or something like that. One thing I actually found pretty nice with it is that it's so big that it takes a lot of effort to flip and spin the board. My normal problem with tray flips is that it flips too much. Like, it'll catch my shoe and just go flying. I'll do it'll spin a little bit too much, flip an extra time and land over there. And if I bail a tray flip, I'm not super consistent at them, but I'm decent, I can do them. It's for that. With this board, I just flick it as hard as I can and it does one flip. Like, I don't think I could flip this board twice. And I'm not gonna try it. But let's see if I can squeeze out another trick.
And then I really wanted to get a frontside flip, which is normally kind of a standard thing for me, and it just didn't want to cooperate at all. This one might have to be something I come back to a different time. I didn't really even get all that close.
Frontside flips are hard on this. Normally when I do them, the board will like travel this way slightly, so it'll kind of land like there. With this board though, it tends to just go in the exact same straight line and land exactly where it was going, which sounds like a good thing. Sounds a lot more consistent and you know, simple to do it, but that's not how I typically do them, so it's a bit tough for me. I may just be a little bit too tired, so I'm getting a little wiped out, but you know, I'll just have to try that one some other time. So overall, I love it. This board is so much fun. There were only a couple things that were a bit harder. I tried some tricks that I was trying to like do something cool to end it with. Tried a pressure flip, could not get it. I think it's possible, but it's gonna feel a lot different. I tried a plasma spin, which I was off camera for. That's like that front side big spin where it kind of wraps. And I slammed hard. Like, I tried to slide off my front foot, because all your front foot does is clear it. And I just like tripped over the board, landed in the air with the board back on the ground, and shot out like hard. That one was tougher. But that's it. Most tricks I could do just fine. I did a kickflip first try. I was able to do an impossible 360 flip, all that type of stuff. It's gonna take some practice, but like, it feels so good. It's so big, you can just land on it, your feet don't hang off. Like, I can fit my whole foot on this, like not straight, I have to be at slightly an angle like that, but like, it's just more comfortable. yeah, like this might be my go-to from now on. You know, I'm gonna try some new shapes each time, I think. Like it's a lot of fun. Now I still have to take it to the skate park, try some grinds, try to, you know, do some stuff on the ramp and things like that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna bring the camera for that or not. I don't really like to film at the skate park. But, you know, as far as just flat ground skating, what this board should be the worst at, it actually went really, really well, and I had a lot of fun with it.